Are you running LinkedIn ads? Maybe you haven't even thought about putting some money into paid ads using the LinkedIn platform. Well, today we're going to be talking with a very special guest where we're going to actually show you how to leverage LinkedIn ads to grow your profits and increase your impact. So stick around. This is the LVTV podcast. Welcome to the LVTV podcast, where we talk all things content, clients, and cash flow for the profit and impact focused coaches and consultants. And today we got a very special guest. Now, I want to make sure I say this right. Joubert. Did I say that right? Joubert. I'm sorry.
Almost got it. 99%.
Yeah. I know the T was silent, right?
Yeah.
The T was silent. And we connected through the LinkedIn locksmith, homie over there, YB, Young Blood. But first and foremost, before we get straight into you, I just want to let everybody know I'm super thankful to have this gentleman here because he has a wealth of knowledge. Have you ever met somebody and you be like, all right, that person's smart. Like they don't whatever they're doing, they could be doing something else and probably have success there as well. That's how I feel about our special guest for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How you feeling?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm excited. I just moved down to Georgia, so I'm even more pumped up and ready for this.
Yeah, man, you're going to really connect with some folks down there who may be looking to leverage some LinkedIn, the LinkedIn paid ad platform. Before we get into all that, I want to ask you this question and give me, like, where were you? What were you feeling? What were you dealing with? What was going on in your life where the light bulb came off for you and you were like, you know what? LinkedIn ads. I'm about to rock with that. Like, when did that light bulb come off for you?
I'll give you a couple different moments that led to that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm originally from Haiti. 22 years ago, I came to the States, didn't speak English, didn't have a network, no friends, and so forth, and had to learn everything here. Right. Fast forward about 2010, 2011, I was working at a company, and right before they were acquired, they had a massive layoff. I was one of the people that got laid off. And that changed everything for me because now I had to find another way to make a living. Bills were piling up. I was getting interviews, but I wasn't getting the job that I wanted. So I went in business for myself. I started a marketing consulting business. One skill set I took from that last job was how to leverage LinkedIn. So they taught us that at the company. So I'm like, I need to make money. I need to take care of myself, but I know marketing really well. Where do I find business owners? LinkedIn. And I know how that platform works. So I'm like, why don't I use it for myself? So I started leveraging it. Got my first client, was able to pay my rent. I got a second client. And then now things started rolling. And I wasn't so confident in myself at the time that I said, I want to get into an MBA program where I can polish my business skills. So I enrolled into an MBA and I was doing this thing on the side that was helping me pay for my MBA program, pay for my books and so forth. After I graduate, I was sharing that story with people. And some of my friends that were business owners, they're like, I wish somebody would teach me how to leverage LinkedIn. And the light bulb went on. Like, wait a second, there's something here. I started doing some research. That was back in 2013. And literally, there were about 500 LinkedIn trainers worldwide around that time. And I was like, that's a pretty what they call the blue ocean.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know how to do this. Let me do a test drive. I ran the test drive. And I got a couple clients. And I'm like, okay, there's something there. So fast forward throughout the years, I built my skills, and I realized that there are a lot of people that weren't taking full advantage of the platform. And I met a gentleman at a conference, and he became a really good friend and mentor of mine as well. And he was the only one in the space that was doing LinkedIn ads. So I was like, wait a second. Something's not right here. Why ain't nobody else doing this? So I take it upon myself. I learned from him. I start running ads for myself first, right? Started to learn it and made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money. And I'll share those with you. And then I started getting it. And it started to work. Now it's systemized where it's running for my business. That's one way we generate leads. And I started teaching other people how to do it. And some of our clients started getting success, especially after the pandemic in early 2020, where a lot of people weren't able to go outside. Conferences were shut down. Trade shows were shut down. They had to find a way, and LinkedIn ads became one of the ways that helped them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I want to go back into your story for a minute. And you said you was
Yeah.
working at a corporate gig and they taught you how to leverage LinkedIn. Like,
Yes.
and you don't have to name the company, but what was that experience like? Because it was almost preparing you for what was coming, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you said that. So when I first got into I'll give you a couple backstories. So
Mm-hmm.
I came here 22 years ago, then started working, going to school. I started working when I was 14. Um, got my first degree, my bachelor degree. Then I worked at Enterprise. Enterprise,
Mm,
I was doing really well. I was a management position. Then I got recruited into an insurance company
mm,
called Chubb. And that's where they taught us, right? And they didn't teach me in the beginning, they'll just teach me how to leverage for research. And then I start leveraging it and I start helping some of the agents there. I'm like, wait a second, we can do this, we can do that. So my mind's, I got excited around it. So what they taught me is all the basic skills that I needed,
mm,
right? And then
mm-hmm.
the other piece come in where it was a lot of self-taught and self-education, where I had to go and get the knowledge. I had to go and meet other people. I had to find other people that were doing it. I had to talk with other employees, how they were using it, and
Yeah.
then started leveraging that to help some of my agents that I was working with.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. I love it, man. That corporate hustle turned into that independent dollar. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's dive into LinkedIn and paid ad platform. Number one, like why is it? What makes it different than the traditional Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube and Google?
Well, a few different things. You're looking at a lot of first party data, meaning these people, HR executive,
Mm-hmm.
CEOs, CFOs, that are using this platform, plugging in their own information,
Mm,
right? So you know that the person that said they're the HR at Canva or HR at blah 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 company, they did that themselves.
yeah.
So that's already verified, right? So that first party data is huge, and because of that, you have that level of targeting that we didn't fully have before. Yeah, you can do that sometime on Facebook, but the challenge there sometime is some people don't put that in their Facebook because it's more personal.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know if that person is the director of HR at XYZ company because they don't say that in their Facebook, right? It's
Right.
just for the friends and family. While on LinkedIn, they do. So now you want your ads to be seen by that executive director or that decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's big, right? And being able to tap into that. And also, you think about it, LinkedIn has over 750 million professionals. Now it's growing rapidly and all over the world. So being able to tap into that and some of the restriction that Facebook has when it comes to like age targeting, you don't have that on LinkedIn right
Right.
now. Maybe in the future, but not right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that created another opportunity to tap into this demographics.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So I love. So you're saying it's pretty. The targeting separates itself from the other
Yeah.
platforms. So as a coach or consultant who's considering really not being so dependent on Facebook and Instagram, and they want to
Mhm.
expand over into LinkedIn, what are like 3 tips that you would give that particular coach or consultant who's like, yo, I want to get into this LinkedIn space, what's up?
So first thing I would do is plan it out, right? A lot of people just jump right in and try to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out, and they make a lot of mistake. Really strategize what's going to be your offer, what exactly you want to happen when you talk to your potential clients, right? What's that offer? What's that messaging? And look at some of the beauty about LinkedIn ads is you could see some of your competitors to see, okay, are they running ads? Or they're not running ads? What kind of ads they're running?
Mm-hmm.
So you get access to that information as well. So you can do some analysis to see, okay, if this person, I know, let's take John Maxwell, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have the whole John Maxwell group. What kind of ads they're running, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could kind of learn from others. So that's all part of the planning. That's tip one, right? Tip two is really focus. What's going to be my offer? What kind
Mm-hmm.
of value I want to add here? If you don't have a strong, valuable offer, you're going to lose them because people get things thrown at them all the time. So you really got
Right.
to put yourself in their position and what kind of value you can provide to them so that they'll say yes, I want this. This sounds exciting. That
Yeah.
irresistible offer, right? And the third piece is your messaging and targeting, right? The beauty is LinkedIn has the targeting where you could target by specific job title, but you could target by function. You could target
Mm.
by groups. And this is exciting, right? Because you
Yeah.
could pick out a group or some type of affiliation on LinkedIn. these people interested in merger and acquisition, right?
Mm,
You could
mm-hmm,
target everyone in that specific group, and that's massive.
mm, I like that. You
So planning, offer, targeting, and messaging.
love it, love it, love it. So, what are some things that most coaches and consultants, what are the most common mistakes that you see happen when people dive into LinkedIn without doing those three things?
They'll lose a lot of money. So, because you could easily use your shirt on with LinkedIn ads, right? Because if you
Mm-hmm,
don't know how to do it properly, you're gonna end up spending a lot of money up front
mm-hmm,
with nothing to show for it, no leads, nothing. Because depends, they give you several different options in terms of objective, right? You
mm-hmm,
got brand awareness, you got consideration, and you got conversion.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes people will just dive into conversion and just run like a website conversion ads. It goes to the website, you see a bunch of click, but you don't see anything turning into leads. And you're
Mm,
like, what's going on? Right. And the big
mm-hmm.
thing here is these people have no idea who you are. You didn't give any value. You're just trying to drive them to your website.
Sure.
And sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you got to figure out, how do I warm up this audience first? Right?
Mm,
Maybe I should put a video where I'm doing some teaching or I'm introducing myself. Run that first
yeah.
and gather data. Set up some remarketing and retargeting data around that. So now these people can see your follow up or third follow up ads. If you
Mm-hmm,
don't have that set up, you're going to lose your shirt. That's the biggest mistake. Second thing is not having the right budget. All
mm.
right. A lot of people think $200-300 gonna do it for you on LinkedIn. It's not. I would say recommend a minimum just for testing about 1,500,
Wow.
and then to really get it going, because you got to do a proper test. And if you're not doing that, then you're gonna spend $500. You're not gonna see anything, and you're like, oh my god, LinkedIn doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
not the platform; it's the strategy that
Got
you
it.
use.
Got it. Got it. That makes a lot of sense, even on any other platform. And anything that you
Yeah.
do, it's not the platform, it's not the algorithm, it's not Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
or YouTube or Google. It's always the strategy. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So what you got? What you got next?
All right, bet. So we talked about having the right strategy to make it run, not spending a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's how you have your targeting set up,
Mm,
right? A lot of people, when they're setting up the targeting, they just put the job titles. All right,
yeah.
I want owners, I want CEO, I want CXOs. And guess what? Sometimes that doesn't work, or the bidding is too high. A lot of people are bidding for the same title, right? So your cost per click, instead of being $5, might be $25. So you got
Mm,
to think, how do I target more specifically, right?
mm,
So that's when the leveraging the groups come in. So you got to do some research on the back end to have the right type of groups, or you got to leverage by functionality, or you got to do a combination of function and interest. So
mm,
that these little details and nuances, that's what make the ads work. If you don't have that set up properly, your ad's probably gonna be super expensive,
mm.
and you're like, "Oh my god, why am I paying $30 for a cost per click?"
Don't want that at all. Not
No,
at all. Not at all.
no.
So give us some examples. Give us an example of a campaign that you've seen. Maybe it's yours that just totally did not work. Like
Oh, I'll give
what
you
was going on?
a couple. I'll give you one of mine first because
Mm-hmm,
I lost a lot of money on that one,
mm-hmm,
and that was in the beginning. When I first started using and getting interested in LinkedIn ads was end of 2017. And I was like, oh, okay, I could run ads on LinkedIn. Let me see what I can do here. So I plug in all my direct target audience in there. I plug in my offer. I'm like, I want them to go directly to this site. We're going to make tons of money on this.
yeah,
And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to put in $150 per day. Let's see what goes. And it started running. I'm seeing the clicks, but nothing's happening. I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, yeah,
So I'm like, okay, maybe let me change it a little bit, right? So I'm like, all right, let me change the target. I'm not going to use this title. Maybe I'm not going to use this picture anymore. I'm going to put this new picture in there. Let's see what happened here. Okay, I'm seeing the clicks, but nothing's happening.
yeah.
What am I missing? Right? So at the end of the day, I spent like $10,000 and I had nothing.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yes.
It
That
hurts.
just. I
It
mean, like
hurts
I
a
got it in
lot.
my chest right here, like a little
Yeah.
knot. Oh my
So,
goodness.
but I've learned a lot. All right. So that's the pros and the cons. Yeah, I lost money, but I've learned a lot. I've learned, okay, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I work with clients in the beginning, some clients think they know what's best. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, this is what I want. And I'm like, this is not how this works. And so, and I'm like, why don't we do a test, right? I'll do this to show you, and then I'll test this, and I'll show you which one works best.
Mm.
And then when they see the result, they're like, okay, I see what you mean right now.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece. And the other thing as well, a lot of people will set it and forget it.
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
Got it.
You
Got it.
don't want to be setting up LinkedIn ads and like, oh, I'll check it in 2 weeks,
No.
because you're missing out. You didn't optimize it, and then in 2 weeks you spent $500 and nothing happened, and you're like, okay, or and $500 on the low end, and you might spend a couple $1,000s. You're like, oh, what just happened here?
Right. Right.
So always checking the ads. If you can, I normally give it about 3 days to get things moving, and then I'm checking it every day from that point to see, okay, how can we optimize it and make it better?
Love it. Love it. So give me an example of one that just blew your socks off success. Like, what has been a success campaign where you was like, that did better than I imagined?
Oh, yeah.
One of those.
So one of those actually happened last year, right?
Okay.
One of my manufacturing clients in California introduced me to another new client that we had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened with them was the COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys is a manufacturer, RF, and their target audience are RF engineers.
Okay.
So it's very niche and very specific. And when COVID hit, all the conferences and trade show they had canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the virtual events wasn't picking up the way they wanted. The salespeople end up sitting here. Okay, we can't go anywhere. What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, marketing had to figure out, okay, what's going to be our new process here? So I was introduced to the owner, the marketing team, and I said, well, have you guys done anything with LinkedIn? No. I'm like, okay, why not? We don't know what to do. So I trained the VP of marketing and the marketing manager on how to leverage LinkedIn. First, we started with Sales Navigator. Then we said, okay, now you know how to use that. Let's jump onto LinkedIn ads.
Sure.
And with LinkedIn ads, we teach them how to target these people properly, what should be the right offer to have for them to grab them in the door. And guess what? They started running this ad. And I'll give you a good idea. When they go to trade show conferences, they'll get about 15 leads, 20 leads here and there, right? When they ran that ad, they got 98 sample requests. These are just people that want to know more about these people that want to see their products. And some of those sample requests came from companies like Amazon and so forth, which gonna yield them 6 to 7 figures of business.
Yeah.
Right. So think about that. That blew my mind because I'm like, wait a second. That's the area that manufacturing companies are not even thinking about.
Right.
Because they're so used to doing things certain way for the past 20, 30 years. So they have the system in place, but now they have to change and really look into that. So that blew my mind. And guess what? They're now allocate some of the budget that they use for trade show and conferences just to do LinkedIn ads. And they've been running it ever since.
Dude, the ability to make fast decisions and pivot and implement. Just I'm listening to you, and I'm like, all I keep hearing is that we have a problem. Instead of just wallowing in our problem and doing the same thing over and over and over, due to COVID, everybody had the issue. They came and did the most out of the box thing because everybody would have went Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Google, but they heard you say LinkedIn, and it just took over for them. Like, I'm sorry, that's why I always tell people: fast action takers are fast money makers. Right? If you take action and you try something different, try something new, especially during times of adversity, that's where you lean in. And leaning in LinkedIn ads is just, it's crazy.
100%.
It's crazy.
I agree 100%. I mean, if they didn't do that, I don't know where the business would have been now.
They probably would have one.
So, but they're willing to take that risk and willing to bet on themselves and said, okay, we're going to give this a try and we're going to go all in. Honestly, that's the main thing for any business is being able to make those quick decisions and trust yourself.
That's it. Or trust your product, your goods, or your service, right? Knowing that it solves a problem for somebody. And people, I always tell folks, due to COVID, whoever had a problem before COVID, their problem became 10 times bigger
Oh
due to
yeah.
COVID. And we're
Oh
still
yeah.
in it, right?
It
We're
exposes
still in it.
exposes everything. You
Right?
know.
So the problem is bigger. The solution is necessary. You just got to position yourself. So I'm gonna not gonna hold you because I know you got 8 million things going on. You just moved and you still getting settled in. So I want to know, like, how can people reach out to you? What's the best way for them to reach out if they want to learn more about the LinkedIn paid ad platform and working with you to learn how
Absolutely.
to
Shoot me
leverage
a
it?
DM on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Just shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. Gilbert Abraham. I can give you my link to my profile. Shoot me a DM. Say,
sure.
hey, I heard you on the podcast. I want to know more. I have tons of free content I can share with them. They can follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. So yeah, just shoot me a DM and then we'll set up some time to chat either with me or someone in our team.
Love it, love it. And I'm telling you guys, mess with him, okay? Mess with the boy. And are you on IG?
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
What's your
I
Instagram?
give you my Jeff Abe online.
Yep, bet.
So
Bet. We're gonna make sure we look you up, put all those things down in the show notes as well, man.
cool.
So again, if you want to learn more about leveraging LinkedIn paid ads as a coach or a consultant, you want to grow your profits and your impact, you need to holler at him. I'm just gonna put it out there. Good dude, highly
Thank you.
just like I mean, again, you speak to him offline, you be like, man, this dude is freaking smart. And I hope that you guys got that same vibe that I did here on the podcast. And again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you get every episode that drops each and every Monday here when we talk with someone on the LVTV podcast. With that being said, Jabbar, anything else you want to say to us?
Thank you for having me. Thank you again, Lev. This was amazing. You guys go out there and take action.
Man, listen, preach. We'll see y'all next time.
All right. Bye.